Well, it's the middle of the week, and a lot has happened regarding the COVID-19 situation in our government. Yesterday, Governor Herbert moved the threat level for this rubric they have to orange, which means most businesses can open under strict social guidelines. We had targeted a May 10th opening for our in-person gatherings of the church. We'd said that it's going to be like a dimmer switch. We're not going to just go all the way back to the way it was. Whether or not the government allows it, we feel that we need to be prudent and care for one another and care for the health of one another and for those that may be at risk in our church population. You got to be honest with you, I was a little bit discouraged that at the end of Governor Herbert's press conference, somebody asked him a question about churches when they can gather again, and he kind of offhand remarked that churches are basically large gatherings, and as far as he's concerned, people can continue to worshiping at home, and he's now has no real interest in saying churches can reopen till the end of all this, till the fall, late in the fall. And when I heard that, my heart dropped because, I've been encouraged by his response to this point, but that's not right. Not only is it not right biblically, it's, the church is essential. It's not an afterthought that we open up when everything else has been taken care of. The church is not that. We are the salt of the earth. We are the light of the world. We are essential in this world. But it also bothered me as an American because that feels like discrimination. Churches are not expected to have special accommodation. Our Constitution does not call for churches to have special accommodation during times of crisis. If everyone shuts down, the government has the right to shut us down. But churches cannot be singled out as and distinct from other industries. Churches have to be treated with fair accommodation. And opening up everything else, but not opening churches is unconstitutional in my opinion. So I was very concerned about that, praying about that, and in the concerns of that, became kind of sort of convinced that this may be now the situation where we obey God rather than man, and that we obey God and we open and we take whatever consequences if they come and shut us down, if they fine me for preaching or whatever happens, that happens. But we did get some further guidance from the health department today, which indicates, I think, that we can open our in-person services on May 10th with strict social distancing requirements and wearing of masks requirements, and being very specific on how we add protections. So we're planning to do that. We're planning to open May 10th. We'll give you more information what that looked like. I do want to give you a warning. It's not going to look like it did, at least for several months now. It's not going to look like it did when we were meeting a year ago, or even 4 months ago. It looks very different, and Pastor Caleb and I are working through how this is going to look. The requirements are pretty extreme for social distancing, so we're going to have 2, perhaps even 3 services on a Sunday, and we might have to do this for a while, but I think it's worth it. It's worth it to follow these guidelines. It's worth it to go ahead and submit ourselves to these guidelines so that we can live peaceable and quiet lives and worship God and continue to encourage one another with word and song and prayer in person. So we're planning to open May 10th. But I wanted to just take a moment to just say that one of the things that I am concerned about and that I've seen kind of is a problem out there is that these guidelines, the issue of the virus, the issue of what should be open, what shouldn't be open, the practice of social distancing, to wear a mask, to not wear a mask, all those sorts of things. People have strong opinions about it. But those are matters of the conscience. And matters of the conscience should never be something that we divide over, we are disunified about, or that we judge one another for. Please do not fall into the trap, brothers and sisters, of seeing somebody who's not wearing a mask and you think they should be, and judging them as being unloving. But also resist the urge to see somebody wearing a mask and thinking that they are fools or silly. Some in our assembly their conscience maybe grips them, and they believe that we should be meeting even today in person, regardless of what the government says. Others perhaps think, we need to follow to the letter of the law everything they say and just wait to the very least till they open us up explicitly. We can have opinions. We can disagree. We can discuss those things. But we are not free to judge one another in these matters. Romans 14 makes it very clear that our responsibility with those who have differing opinions and differing levels of conscience regarding these sort of disputable matters is that we are to receive one another, to welcome one another, and to love one another. So some may choose to stay home and continue to worship from home. Given maybe concerns for the virus, concerns for the government orders, concerns for what they're doing and what we're doing. We love you, we receive you, we welcome you. Others may be coming and they may want to not wear the masks. We ask you to wear the mask, and we'll give you some more guidance in that, but we will receive you, we will welcome you, we will not judge you. And essentially we're going to want to put on the display of the love of Christ, not just in how we've separated, but even as we come back together. I know that not all of you have agreed with everything that we have done in leading the church through this crisis to this point. I'm sure you won't all agree with everything we're going to do in how we're gathering together, planning our in-gathering meeting on 2 Sundays. But I assure you, we care about you. Pastor Caleb and I love you. We're praying for you. We have your best spiritual interest at heart. We may not always make the right choices, but we're trying to obey God and to love you. And we ask you to do that for one another as well. Well, I hope this video finds you all well and that we continue to pray and trust God.